when last we left our intrepid adventurers, I should mention for historical note, John isn't in this retelling.
He can't dilute the truth.
Yes, he cannot dilute the truth. I will tell entirely 100% the truth.
Yes, that darn dungeon master is
always
diluting
contradicting me. In fairness, most of the dissonance between John's version of events and my version of events are over philosophical details rather than actual facts. And this session was almost entirely combat, so there's not a lot of philosophical.
Just the facts, man.
Yeah, it's just the fact. This guy hit that guy. There's really no philosophical debate over that. It's like,
what even is a hit?
It's like this. Let the record show that I mime punched Tim in the face. Anyway, so yeah, when last we left our intrepid adventurers, we were fighting Aurora's brother spawn. There were these
bright stars
and dark stars, and the bright stars were completely harmless.
Nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about.
It was those darn dark stars that were the terror.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a good thing you took care of them quickly.
This is the point where John would jump in and immediately debate the philosophical truths I was just telling, because he had been just rolling utterly abysmally on the bright stars, and we had come to dismiss them, even though they actually were pretty scary, because they couldn't hit anything worth a darn due to just sheer dumb luck. And that continued throughout this entire game. I don't know if they actually managed. I think they managed to land a blow on Hank at one point. So there was one bit where Hank could only do basic and at will. No, it was Croesus. But that was absolutely fine, because all of his lockdown everything BS is at will stuff.
Right.
So it didn't harm him at all.
And there was one in the last session where they hit serendipity.
Yeah, that one was kind of nasty. But fortunately, John allowed Serendipity to maintain stuff that she had brought up last time, so she was able to maintain the suck everyone together thing, which she actually let that lapse during this combat because we'd thinned out the numbers of enemies enough that it really wasn't as much of a concern. We kept focusing on the dark stars. That was our main concern was the dark stars, because they make it really tough to move around, and they do massive damage when you're adjacent to them. The bright stars may have had some similar damage dealing stuff, but they just never managed to hit us with anything, so it didn't really matter. They didn't restrict our movement, and that was the thing that was more concerning. So anyway, I believe at the end of last session, there were a bunch of light stars still alive.
But most of the dark stars?
Most of the dark stars we'd winnowed down because we were really focusing on them. 2 of them were dominated. One of them saved out of that immediately, but the other one stayed in that, so that was pretty nice. We had him going around hammering on the light stars because he does ongoing necrotic damage.
Right, and the light stars are vulnerable to it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
What happened with Croesus's kitchen?
Oh,
because it's a shattered time zone, and you timeless trekked somebody, and there's all kinds of time rifts going on.
It turns out, it was really a bad idea to put that kitchen on. Croesus's shattered time area started slowly expanding in the direction of past Croesus's shattered. It was like they were trying to join up or something.
There was a kitchen renovation.
Yes, and we're worried is the whole world going to be kitchen? Croesus will be teleporting everywhere and hitting everything.
I think Croesus would like that.
Actually, he's really freaking out pretty hard right now because he broke time. Oops. Yep. He's kind of done the thing that is his nightmare scenario, and he did it himself.
Is it still under warranty?
Time's warranty expired a long time ago.
I'd like to take this time back to the store and exchange it for a new time.
Send it back to the manufacturer?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. This warranty only covered the first 3 years of time.
And it's only that's 3 years of meta time.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years of meta time.
So anyway, this is kind of interesting how many time scales there are. There's game time, there's time like regular time, there's meta time, there's real world time. Anyway, so Croesus's kitchen is now a creeping apocalypse. And in fact, later in the fight, at one point, past Croesus showed up in our kitchen, our local kitchen.
Oh no.
and tried to hit something, and of course missed because he's attacking an epic thing, and then just sort of went, and then teleported back. And so we figured out that wouldn't affect anything because Croesus was
already crazy,
seeing weird crap anyway.
Yeah. That would have been so funny if, like, a couple of years ago, Tim had included something crazy like that in one of his.
Yeah. Sadly, no.
Well, that was before you guys knew it was a time travel campaign, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we had fought the Time Mages, but we didn't really know
what was going on.
Yeah. We figured there was something time travel-y about that because, you know, the whole erase from existence thing kind of felt like a time travel thing. But it felt more like a ghost story than a time travel story.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was like this village that had been destroyed years ago, and it was like a ghost story.
Something out of M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. So anyway, when the light stars, we sort of ran out of dark stars, so we started popping light stars. When they died, it was like, I guess we'll go back down to the...
Waste my action.
Yeah.
Midday Star.
Oh, and I should mention, of course, this is the funny thing from my perspective. Cricket got timeless trekked at the end of last session. I did not save out the entire combat. Or afterwards for like 10 minutes. It was ridiculous. I just kept rolling. I was rolling like a light star. It was crazy. The rest of the party was getting very concerned because they didn't have any idea what had happened to me. They were like searching around under the water. Is there a corpse lying at the bottom of the... What's going on, you know? They tried using the sending stones to contact me, but of course I don't exist right now. I was considering using... I have this parry app that lets me end a condition that has a save ends thing. But John said that, or made a ruling, that Timeless Trek is kind of weird that way because you don't really exist while it's happening, so you can't really do anything, including activating magic items.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's fair. Like, if it was like your petrified save ends, I would think you wouldn't be able to activate or unconscious save ends.
Yeah. I think, like, for some of these things, like for Timeless Trek, I would almost rule as a DM that none of your save bonuses count either. Because it's not really a thing you resist. You're just lost.
I don't know. I think it makes sense that a more powerful entity would be able to, you know, use force of will BS. It's fantasy.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we allow you to, in this campaign, to save against your past being erased. So, yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Make a saving throw against having been killed years ago. I guess that's a death save. Anyway, so basically we concluded the combat. We finished killing...
Mopped up the white.
We finished mopping up. And I mean, yeah, it was... We sort of went into this expecting it to be a bit of a mop-up. We didn't, you know, just say, oh, yeah, we mop them up. Because, you know, some of the stuff that was going on was...
dangerous.
There was implications from the things we were doing. So Croesus was like basically he told Tim told John, you know, I want Croesus to do whatever he can to try and hold reality together. I don't know if there's any game mechanic for that. And so John had Croesus like standing in the middle of the kitchen trying to hold reality, because you know he can fix anything. Yeah. But he couldn't fix this. John actually did.
The kitchen was out of control.
The kitchen was out of control. John gave him some, and it didn't end when it was supposed to either.
Right.
So yeah, John gave him some. I can't remember what the mechanic was exactly, but there was some rolls he was trying to do, and it would have been super hard anyway, but he wasn't making it. So then Serendipity stepped in and was using her time knowledge and stuff to try and fix things. So she was making a lot better progress. I remember there was some discussion about. We were trying to remember exactly what our past party did after the fight, and whether there was any chance that they would, you know, come over and hear the ruckus as we were fighting with breaking down time and stuff.
Pay no attention to the chaos beyond the curtain.
Yes. Never you mind what's going on inside the boathouse.
Yeah. There's just some renovations.
Yeah. So we're just hammering. There's renovations. If we keep doing that, we're gonna like retroactively give ourselves post-traumatic stress about renovations. As soon as we hear hammer drilling start up, we're like,
Wait, you don't?
There's epic level nonsense going on next door. So yeah, we managed to force the chaos back down and kind of fix it. Time still has a bit of a rip in it from where Aurora's brother, because that was what originally caused all this. Aurora's brother did some sort of weird time teleport out and ripped a hole in the process. So the hole's still there, but it's like slowly, ever so slowly sealing up. And Serendipity busts out her Arcana checks and is trying to analyze what the heck is going on here. And basically, John explains, she rolls high, of course, explains that Aurora's brother, he's got something going on. You know, he's become super duper powerful. He's really powerful. And basically, he is immune to the Time Tower. He is so powerful that if he goes someplace and does something, that's just the way it is. History can't do anything against him.
That's pretty powerful.
That is crazy powerful, crazy scary.
Yes.
So then John was like, okay, I guess now what you guys need to plan out. Oh, Cricket, of course, Cricket exists again. Cricket came back. Eventually.
Yeah.
Party needs to decide what to do next. There's basically 4 different, 5 factions, including ourselves. There's Aurora's brother, Time Mages, or the Void Monsters, Doppelgangers, End of All Things faction, Warforged, and the Priestesses of the Temple of Freedom. And everyone wanted to stop all of those in some way. I don't know what's to stop some of them, but anyway.
Well, it sounds like most of them are all trying to get power over time.
And, yeah, I mean, they each have their own different approach to things. The Temple of Freedom doesn't have time travel at all. They just have future knowledge.
Right.
The Warforged do have some kind of cheapo knockoff Panadar thing they were experimenting with. We don't know if they've actually managed to make that work, because last we saw it was just a bunch of dead Warforged because it didn't work out for them. But they also seem to have future knowledge in some way, because the vast majority of what they do is waiting around for things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, of course, out of character, we know they have future knowledge in the sense of they have a prophecy engine.
Yeah.
But in character, we just sort of are speculating that they have some kind of future knowledge.
Yeah.
And they're just generally very mysterious and annoying. So there is some thought that, you know, we should go and track down the obelisk and give it what for and ask what up.
Yeah.
You know. Time Mages, obviously, we know what they're up to. They want to destroy everything. They want nothing to exist anymore.
Because existence sucks.
Yeah. And Aurora's brother, we're trying to figure out, we don't really know exactly what his goals are.
Yeah.
But we did see one time, very early in the campaign, we went into the future briefly. And we saw an awful, awful dark future.
Right.
That was ruled by Drow. The sun was gone. The ocean was gone. And, well, the local ocean was gone. Maybe it still existed elsewhere. The ocean around Allenway was gone.
Yeah.
And Aurora was nailed to the sky somehow. So we figure that dark future probably represented brother triumphant in some way. And
Does the brother have a name?
Nope. Aurora's brother. We don't have Aurora around to ask. You know, it's sufficient for now.
You do have time travel.
That's true. We could pop back and ask her, but we have bigger fish to fry right now than figuring out what his name is. We'll just call him, you know, well, Aurora's brother, I guess. Anyway, so, yeah, his goals... Oh, and also just generally speaking, Aurora told us a lot about her brother and male stars in general, and they're just awful. They love suffering.
Right.
In other people, of course.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it sounds like, in terms of motivation, what their goals are, the Time Mages are the worst, because they just want to destroy everything.
Yeah.
But Aurora's brother is a pretty close second.
Yeah.
And he is way more powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And so, initially, I mean, we were debating, you know, what our priorities are. Who do we go after first?
Yeah.
And John...
the End of All Things seemed like a really bad guy.
Yeah.
No, it turns out Aurora's brother is really bad.
Well, really bad in terms of power.
Yeah.
I mean... There were still things alive in that future setting.
That's true, yeah.
But you're fit.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucked for the fish. Oh, the mermaids. Poor guys. Flopping around.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, initially I was sort of thinking that the end of all things was a bigger problem. We should try and deal with that. But I sort of came around to the conclusion, and I think pretty much everyone did, that Aurora's brother is probably what we have to deal with first. Because John sort of he said, by the way, I know you have time travel, but there is meta time, and you're dealing with other time traveling entities. So, if you're busy dealing with one of them, the other one can do their thing as well. So, the order you deal with these guys in is important.
Right.
And so we decided we're going to deal with Aurora's brother.
Right.
We got to deal with it. Fortunately, we know exactly where and when he's going to be. Because we just saw him there, and he is a sufficiently scary threat that I proposed a plan to everyone that I felt was a super crazy plan, but they've agreed with it.
Time dog pile?
Time dog pile. Yes. We are going to go back like an hour and join ourselves in the fight. The problem is, when we joined initially, he did his cinematic monologue and then teleported out before we could do anything.
Right.
The DM fiat prevented us from being able to attack him.
Right.
Fortunately, we have tools that can override DM fiat.
Oh, yeah?
We have that other bone of the earth that allows us to lock a period of time.
Do you know where he's going? Through the rift?
No, we don't. We don't know where he went. We were doing some fiddling, or Serendipity was doing some fiddling to try and figure out where it went. And it was not really working all that well. Because it's not really a time portal in a traditional sense. It's sort of a wound that he left in time when he sort of tore his way out of it.
Yeah, he decided he wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, he's going somewhere else. Time was like, no, you're staying here. And he was like, yeah, rip.
Because if you could set up a time dog pile on the other side of the rip.
Now, what we're going to do, we're going to use that other bone of the earth to lock this moment in history. And John figured that would actually be strong enough to prevent him from doing the rip away and tear through. So we can actually prevent him from doing that DS time teleport.
Can you actually dogpile if you lock the moment?
The other party arrived in that moment, so we will be locking that in. And the rest of us are going to have gone around and coming in. So yeah, we're doing that. Now, we won't be able to dogpile a third time.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that will be a downside.
Maybe you should dogpile a third time.
I mean, what you do is you go through and do that fight again with the rest of the party. Then you go in the third time with the lock.
No, I don't know if we'd be able to get away with that. Because we're already kind of doing things a little bit. This is not exactly desperation, but we're doing stuff that is really dangerous. Fortunately, the time tower has fully regenerated for us. We're going to be pulling a lot of blocks, so that's good.
You are on the scale of shenanigans.
We're on the what?
Shenanigans.
Yes, we're definitely shenanigans this. So we have to do a little bit of strategic planning, though, because it takes 10 minutes. It takes 10 minutes to lock time. It's a ritual. And that guy, Aurora's brother, is there during those 10 minutes. So what we're going to do, at least this was the plan when we broke, it might see some tweaks coming up, is we're going out, we're going to do a little bit of supply gathering. We don't have a lot of time here to do this in, but we're going to try and get a Scroll of Silence. And then we're going to give Cricket Panadar and the thingy, and she's going to do it.
The whole thing?
The lockdown thing. Because she's super stealthy, she's a ritual caster, and so forth. So we're going to go back in time, and Cricket is going to sneak up on the area and start locking time. And lock it down just moments like when the party arrives. And then we're going to redo the fight.
Right. Except this time he can't get away.
This time he can't get away. And we will have twice as many party members. Also, we're leveling up, so so it's going to be a level 22 party and a level 23 party double teaming on this guy. And I'm going to tailor my level up to fighting this war. So, yeah. He was apparently able to see through invisibility. So that's going to be a bit tricky, but I'm just stealthy.
Is there stuff to hide behind?
Yeah. No. I could go in underwater, though.
Can you breathe underwater?
I think it was Hank has an item for that. I could borrow that.
Yeah.
Plus, we will be doing a little bit of shopping beforehand.
reminds me of a Champions game. It was in many years ago. At one point, our mage hero ended up face to face with essentially Satan. It's this massive supervillain. The supervillain, like, demonic wings, and rules over a coven of other demonic supervillains.
Yeah.
And I see from a distance that they're basically like eye to eye, about to throw down, and our party member is going to lose badly. And I, do a massive, superhero leap, come in from above the fight to punch the guy in the back. Super strong, super tough. And Jim pauses mid-jump and says, "Hey, by the way, does your character have a soul? Does your character have a soul?" And it was actually a question. We discussed it for half an hour.
I'd be all right.
Because I was in a human whose consciousness was eaten by a swarm of nanites, and then they absorbed his consciousness. But did they absorb his soul? I came out with no, so at some point in the future I can meet my own ghost.
Nice.
Which is good because this villain had detect souls. And so I got the sneak attack on, and I had to roll 17 or less on 3d6 to hit him in the back. And I missed. And blew up the park they were in. We calculated the actual radius of destruction was an entire city block.
Well, Cricket would actually have been in trouble there because she does have a soul stuck to her. So there would be a detection there. But anyway, that's the plan. And I feel good about this plan. Yeah. I kind of like the notion of jumping straight to the final battle with this guy.
We can skip all that messy adventure.
Hunting him down through time and all that. But yeah, I think we're sufficiently freaked out by this guy. I mean, the ability to ignore the time tower.
That's pretty crazy.
That is super crazy. I mean, he's basically a god.
Yeah. There are no clerics in the party, right?
No. And there's, when it sort of was just figured that, none of us are playing anything remotely divinely oriented.
Yeah.
We hadn't really talked about deities during world building either.
Yeah.
John was like, there's no real deities in this setting.
Right.
So none of that divine stuff.
Should be the first one.
Yeah. Well, Serpent Queen.
She's immortal. She's not a deity.
A logistical question about the time tower. It's like a physical Jenga tower.
Yes.
Do you tear it down between sessions?
Yes, but we remember how many blocks have been pulled. And so next session, if something causes more blocks to be pulled, we first have to pull our way up to where we were last time.
Oh.
That could be advantageous or disadvantageous. It depends. Jenga towers are not
uniform,
consistent. Yeah. So it evens out.
I'd like to point how a Jenga tower survives in a house full of 1 million small children.
Yes, it meta survives.
Yeah. John just tracks how many blocks. And given that it regenerates over time, I mean, you can't put blocks back into a Jenga tower. So.
I don't know. I know some surgeons. Actually did try playing Jenga with the surgeon once.
Very steady hands, huh?
Yeah. Also, she had tiny fingers.
Not all surgeons have steady hands. Dr. Strange.
I mean, he had steady hands when he was a surgeon.
Well, I suppose.
Church is it's what he does, not what he is. When he's up to doing surgery, he's up to being a surgeon.
So anyway, that was where the session ended. Croesus, when he figured out sort of what our plan was, he got really, really gung-ho about it. Because it means he will prevent himself from ever breaking time.
Or
he'll break it more.
He could add a third kitchen.
Yeah.
But the rift won't exist.
Yeah. We're going to stop, what's-his-face, Aurora's brother.
Well, okay, so you need to break time yourselves and then multi-kitchen.
We may multi-kitchen. We're going to have 2 Crowsci there.
It's going to be very kitcheny.
Yeah.
Do you think you are strong enough to hurt Aurora's brother?
Find out, aren't we?
Yeah. That's going to be really awkward because you locked it in time if you're wrong.
Yeah, if we're wrong, it's going to be real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, every once in a while, you just got to throw yourself at the wall and see if you stick.
And occasionally you got to race through time.
And, if it doesn't work out, then maybe Aurora's brother can deal with the end of all things.
You got to do the Doctor Strange ending. You got to loop time.
They did that already.
That's what got us into this problem.
Yeah. We didn't loop time and negotiate.
Aurora's brother, I'm here to bargain.
Aurora's brother, I'm here to bargain. We're going to play airport strike.
I assume they're striking over the fact they had to be in Winnipeg.
This city is ridiculous.
Well, they're on strike. They can't fly out of there. Anyway, I'm going to conclude this recording because that's basically it.
Well,
I have very little to say because I literally didn't exist for the events of the past little while. I spent a long time in that place where things that don't exist are. And yeah, I missed it entirely. But we've got a great plan for what to do next. It's fantastic.
So I'm traveling with people who have the ability to travel through time. They can go back to any time, and instead they want to go to the local supermarket to buy a random thing. Come on, we could go back to the time of the Ood. We could come back with some really, really big wands. But no, we just have to go over there and buy a little scroll. Like, come on, guys. What is your problem? We can go anytime. Anytime, please. Can we please go back to the Ood? It's not fair. It's not my fault I wasn't with you then. Serendipity Van Gold, Strider, Malord, Toppler of Tower, Shepherd of Strolls, Strider, I'm Doomed Laird, Savior of Children.
That wasn't my name.
Well, aggravating.
Salvation of children.
Aggravator of handsome men.
That's a good one. Maybe I should add it.
Wait, she didn't aggravate me.
You're not as handsome as you thought you were.
I just broke time. I just broke the world. Oblin aren't supposed to do that.
Wow, I really see what Aurora was talking about with her brother now. This guy's bad news. So there's this guy. There's the Time Mages. There's the Warforged. Whatever. They're not a issue. Well, they might be. Whatever. There's the Snake Priests. I mean, they're relatively benign compared to everybody else. I think and there's us, we time travel also. But we got to deal with the Time Mages. We got to deal with Aurora's brother. And then after that, other things might fall into place a little bit better. I don't know. Yeah, I think the Star Dude's much bigger threat. How are we going to do that, though? Maybe if yeah, that'll be cool. We'll time duplicate ourselves. And there'll be more of us. There'll be there's already 2 of me. There'll be 4 of me. This is going to be good. Or we're all just going to die twice. That might happen too. But it'll be fun. And spectacular. Yeah.
Well, technically the plan should work, but I have a feeling it's not going to be as simple as it seems.
It doesn't seem very simple to me.
No, it doesn't.
You're such a pessimist. You know, if we went back in time and got some of those Ood things, then things would go well.
Drod.
Yeah. You know, I can't see under your veils. I have no idea what you're doing.
It's not under my veils.
Oh, pardon me.
It's not my fault you're blind.